We are the last panel. Thank you all for staying with us. We are a panel about talking about the enablers. So I would like just to extend a personal thanks to our accessibility enablers. Yes, you are here. Thank you for translation to sign language. So it is undeniable that the space market is expanding in the last year above the traditional needs of satellite, GPS, and defense. For those companies who are looking to evaluate and adapt their product or their technologies, they need the specific requirement of space. It's imperative to have facilitators to help them and guide them through the hurdles of this journey. So we have a fantastic panel, and I'm thrilled to invite to join me on stage. First, Roy Naor, CEO and co-founder of Creation Space. Dr. Doron Klepach from FVMAT, a startup pushing the boundaries of metamaterial. Doron is the CEO and co-founder of FVMAT, along with Yoav Herzig, who is innovation principal at IAI, one of Israel aerospace powerhouse. And last but not least, Dr. Tzipi Shoham, CEO and co-founder of Green Onyx, a food tech company already testing and validating its product in space. So thank you all for being here, and yeah, get your... Let's dive into the discussions. So, Roy, I'd like to start with you, and if you can give us in one sentence a bit more about what is Creation Space.
Sure. You can hear me great. So Creation Space is an innovation hub for startups and companies that develop technologies that are relevant for human and robotic space missions.
Amazing. Doron, can you explain a bit more about, FVMAT's innovative technologies and its application?
Sure. All right, let's try this. All right. First of all, thank you for having me, having us. Yes, so we develop simulation and design tools for metamaterials. Metamaterials are materials with extraordinary multifunctional properties that are the way you produce them is by micro-engineering or nano-engineering the structure of them. Basically, it's really hard to produce or develop these materials, and that's where we come in. So we work a lot on the simulation tools with AI so that the customer will have tools that it's easy and user-friendly in terms of the development. A couple of examples in optics, electromagnetism, mechanics, and heat transfer, we develop shock absorbers or metal lens, for example.
You are the Innovation Practice Manager at IAI. Can you please give us a brief overview of your role there?
Okay, hello, and thank you for having us. IAI is a big company, Israel Aerospace Industries, and I guess the emphasis is on aerospace, so it's both aero and space. And in the innovation practice, what we do is we have a three-tier approach. It's internal innovation, so we grow our own internal inventions and startups. We work with external innovation, such as FVMAT, and we work with startups, we work with universities. It's elaborate activity. And then the third tier is innovation culture, which is events, all sorts of competitions, etc., to keep the innovation going inside the normal organization. So this is the practice.
Great. Tzipi, Green Onyx is a food tech company growing duckweeds. Tell us about its application to space. It's interesting.
So indeed, we have developed a very unique agricultural platform. It's actually a whole supply chain under one roof that is fully automated. It's a line of robots that are doing their jobs, and it's highly efficient and at low cost. We are growing duckweeds, which is plants that have been marked by NASA for many, many years as the potential crop for space. And it's just natural that we are also aiming with our technology to space, perfectly aligning with the needs for compact solution, highly efficient and cost effective.
Great, thank you. So I'm going back to you, Roy. How do you enable companies to bridge their technology or their product into space application at Creation Space?
Well, Creation Space is composed of a team of experts in a variety of space-related fields. We work with startups, but we also work with large companies and governmental organizations. We are helping them develop space-related innovation hubs and testing sites. We start by identifying the match between a problem in a human or robotic space mission, matching it with a terrestrial solution. Then we provide our expertise, helping them with their engineering and research in order to modify the product so it can serve its applicability, the applicability for Earth and space. Then, eventually, we help with commercializing the product. We either help them apply for non-dilutive funds, like grants, and we can also help them with private funding, either through Creations VC, which is the American fund that backing us, or other sources.
Very versatile. It's great that each time that I have an interaction with you, I understand a little bit more what you're doing. It's a good thing. Doron, simple question, why space? How did you make the decision to look and to adapt the technology for the space sector?
So the materials, the metamaterials that we're developing, they're complicated. It takes a long time to develop them. It's expensive. And the space industry, they're early adopters of novel technology, and they're interested in cutting-edge technology. So it was basically a kind of a very easy match or an easy connection to make with that industry. And it's, you know, what we do is of high interest to them. So it was natural.
Okay. And you are the one that is working along with Doron on this application. What is the potential did you see in leveraging FVMAT technology for the aerospace industries? And,
Okay, one of the things we do is we always look for what we call disruptive technologies. Disruptive can be on many levels. In Doron case, it's really on the basic level of enabling the further development of applications. So applications for me could be something mechanical, could be something electromagnetical, could be many types of applications. So in my role as innovation practice, I was looking for the disruptive basic enabler which Doron brings, and they develop the ability to simulate and to test the metamaterials, which is kind of a buzzword now in the industry. And so we brought them in for one specific application. I can't elaborate what, but it's an interesting application. But then it actually spread for other applications because of their ability to simulate and to actually create the infrastructure to work and develop. So, and actually after today, there's a few other ideas, a few other introductions I need to make for them. So that's what we do.
Great. So even with the interaction between you and the collaboration, you already are able to move forward to other maybe new sector and new application.
Yeah, it's a big company, and once you put one foot in, and it can start spreading in.
Can go in many directions. Tipi, you told us you're really the one that is coming the farthest from what we call, space technology as your food tech company. And you told us a little bit about the duckweed that you're growing, but I think that what other benefits, your product is to space? We talked a little bit about it being a superfood, but I know there are other also maybe benefits from the cultivation of the duckweeds.
So in Greenonics, we are talking about securing the fresh factor in our nutrition. We are used to industrialized food. We are not eating as much as we need fresh quality. And it's the same for the astronauts. And even more, I think, the lack of the fresh factor. And we have been reported that we have seen that astronauts are really suffering from reduced well-being, mentally and physically, as a result that they are not eating fresh food. We have developed the ultimate solution for them. First based on a miniature cultivation system that can grow fresh vegetables in space, first in the International Space Station, but then in other space journeys. And we also developed a very nice package that can send fresh produce from Earth to space for the astronauts, so we can incorporate fresh vegetables into their daily diet. So we have just launched an experiment months ago, sending a miniature cultivation system for growing duckweeds in space, and it was very nice to see how they grow, how they survive very nicely in the microgravity conditions, in the ambient space environment. And we also send fresh produce, fresh duckweeds, we call them walnut greens, in our unique pouch that they could squeeze and try. And it's really nice to realize that our vegetable can survive the trip, the launch, and reach there alive and fresh and vibrant and bring fresh nutrition to their diet.
Great. So leveraging innovation demands collaboration, of course, and we're talking about that a little bit. And Doron, when you look back at your relationship with IAI from inception, what do you feel has contributed to making it a successful collaboration as a small startup engaging with a large corporation?
So I think there were two main topics. One was that we have a really good relationship with Yoav. He was guiding us and mentoring us throughout the collaboration, and he was open and willing to bridge any gap that was needed or necessary. The other thing was that IAI recognized that we're a startup. So they were able to leverage our agility and our quick way of doing things, but they did not provide us with too much bureaucracy. So they were working really well with us. That's the main factor.
Okay. And you, Yoav, if I'm asking for the second side of the mirror, when you're looking back, what expectation did you have of FVMAT to make this partnership successful? How they should adapt?
Okay, I'll give it two parts. First of all, from our part, the expectation that we try to portray on the other side, what we established an accelerator. So I now have actually a few of them. And this is how we managed to somehow cut down bureaucracy. Not a lot, but it's quite significant. And because we can be a government-owned company, we can be fairly bureaucratic. So that's how do we come across to the startup more as easier to work with. On the other hand, from the other side, it's all about, I think, expectations, what you build. It's like, real estate is about location, location, location. Here it's expectations, expectations, expectations. It's what you need to build the right level of expectation from what you do with the startup. You need to allow yourself for some leeway of success, not success, retries. And I must say, we built together with Doron, we built the right level of expectation. We actually exceeded that expectations. We delivered. We created a really good working relationship. And with that could work both ways. And that can be the next step that could be the base for the next step. So we created something. It doesn't necessarily, as an innovation, I don't expect to succeed or actually implement everything, but we created the base level, and from there it's ongoing.
So we're talking about collaboration between companies, but there is also collaboration with the ecosystem, I guess. And Roy, I know that I'd be happy if you can tell us about the hub that you are developing in Mitzpe Ramon in Israel.
Sure. Yes, so as I said, we are developing a space-related innovation hub, so I can already share that we started developing such an innovation hub for the township of Mitzpe Ramon. That's the city of space in Israel. That's the city that has the largest amount of space-related activities or institutes per capita in Israel. And the city tries to brand itself for many years. So our support in them is aimed to bring, to open new jobs in the Negev and bring entrepreneurs and experts to the south. We chose to work with Mitzpe Ramon not just because of its branding, but also because of the environment, the arid environment of the desert and of Ramon Crater, which I think that by now many people agree that it is, I would say, world-known analog environment for the Martian environment. And that's the reason why we are focusing there also on developing a testing site, field testing site facility.
Doron, if we're talking about the integration to space, what space-specific computational adaptation did you have to make for FVMAT?
Well, the good news is that we didn't have to start from scratch. We have an infrastructure and a methodology. But when it comes to space, there are specific applications that you need to take into account the different environment and surroundings. For example, microgravity or no gravity or no atmosphere. So that it requires us to rebuild or remodel our specific models and create a new database. It's not, as I said, it's not from scratch, but it is not an epsilon. It's not just a little addition, it's a major addition in our modeling or our products, let's say.
And what is the role did you play, the key role did you play with FVMAT regarding the adaptation of the technology to your needs, to the needs of aerospace?
In this specific way, in this specific instance, we actually chose the application, and the adaptation is per application. So the basic physics doesn't change. It's the same physics on Earth and in space, and what we call the conditions or the boundary conditions change. But the basic physics remains, and in our case, it's basic simulations for basic definitions of the problem, and that's what defines the way it works.
I remember in our prep discussion, they said that if the methodology is strong, then there is a good chance to advance and to make it happen.
Correct.
Great. So Tipi, you have deeper experience with green onyx, as it was already tested in space, and now you're looking for the next step. Can you tell us more about your journey also to get there, and what were the key partnership and lesson learned from that?
Sure. So we collaborated with Nanorex in order to ship our miniature lab to the International Space Station via the SpaceX cargo mission. We have followed the duckweed's plants for their ability to grow for several weeks. We used our proprietary control system to follow them, to video them, and we are happy to share that they grew wonderfully. They are unique creatures. They are the tiniest vegetable on Earth, and based on their unique structure, they are the perfect match for growing in microgravity condition and also in a very, very high carbon dioxide concentration. I don't know if you are aware, but there is above 2,000 ppm concentration of carbon dioxide in the ISS, which is like fourfold of what we have on Earth, and they just co-op wonderfully with that condition. And growing vegetables in space is actually perfect measure to transform carbon dioxide to oxygen, because that's what plants do. So it's really, really good news that they did a job, although in small scale, but we can grow from there. In addition, we realized that we can indeed ship from Earth to space our fresh produce. They remain fresh. Because they are still alive, these tiny vegetables, they can survive several weeks under controlled condition, as we have in the package, so they can arrive perfectly fresh and at high quality for the astronauts to be incorporated in their diet. So next step is to study further how we can develop and adapt our technology to the space conditions and develop the cultivation system, and hopefully start some trials with the astronauts to follow the impact on their well-being.
So also improving your product on Earth after testing it in space is allowing you...
Yes, we are very excited to receive back plants that have been born in space, so it's enabled us to follow them and study if there are some differences, if there are all kinds of, but they look very nice and they grow nicely, and we hope to continue from here.
Roy, from your perspective, what are the main challenges in commercializing, space-related technologies? It's not easy.
I would
it's
have
not an
to
easy
say,
task.
I would have to say the market. For many of these space-related technologies, the market in the space sector is only starting to grow. This is why we always select to work with developments that can also present a strong potential market for its terrestrial application.
Okay, so as we conclude, before we conclude, and each one will give us, some of this conclusion, we're left with a glimpse into the future where cutting-edge technology and established expertise converge to shape the next frontier of space exploration. I liked very much the sentence say here before, from really science fiction to space exploration. It's really a great one. I'm going to steal it, sorry. Doron and Yoav, what closing reflection do you have about space sector collaboration, the importance of...
In my opinion, if a large company or I don't know, agency is interested in working with startups, I think it has a huge potential of kind of winning from both worlds, meaning those companies have, infrastructure and a lot of abilities, whereas startups do not have those, but they have the agility or the kind of open-minded, way of doing things. So it can be a win-win situation.
So space collaboration.
Future, yeah.
Yeah, definition of AI is a system integrator. So we integrate system from all sources, so mostly our own subcontractors, and the subcontractors could be as big and small. So from our point of view, this is business as usual. We are always looking for partners. We're always looking for new technologies to integrate into our system. So the question is where the market is eventually, in space, in aerospace, and wherever it is, we're quite happy to bring our partners with us. I think this is the case. This is the essential thing is the partnering. So once you get that right, it's space or aerospace.
So partnership, collaboration, the guidance of a larger company to the smaller one also, and also the capacity also to have some kind of people that are enabling the collaboration. Tzipi, in closing, what is the one message you would like to share with startups that are looking, to make the leap toward the space sector, that are outside of the sector, that are looking into it?
I think that if you find cross-pollination between the business opportunities on Earth and in space, it's the perfect scenario, it's the perfect case. I think that there can be huge synergy between the efforts, as in our case, we were aiming originally for agriculture that can face constraints of resource availabilities, like we are going to face in the future more and more. We need, even on Earth, compact and resilient and cost-efficient agriculture. It's the same for space. So space studies actually serve a perfect ground for us to push our technology and to push our studies even further to the benefits of both opportunities. So if startups can identify this synergy, I would suggest go there.
Great. So Roy, let's close with you. How do you see the future for agents such as yourself, opening the space sector of outsider synergies, collaboration, partnership? I guess also the market is important.
Well, humanity is on its way back to the moon and eventually to Mars. And this endeavor holds a great opportunity for new technological developments that can help humanity here on Earth, similar to the effect of the Apollo missions. So this is why this sector is exponentially growing, and we are here to make an impact.
Great. So thank you all for joining us today and for sharing also your experience and your thoughts about the future of commercialization of space endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
That tonight's gonna be a good night.